Hello and welcome to another episode of Fulham Chronicles. Hello, Melinda.
Hello, Zara.
Oh, I love when your voice is so nice and soft. It's like, where's the life? Right, so what have you been up to?
I can't think. Nothing
I
exciting.
think you've been on holiday, haven't you?
Well, I think the thing I'm most excited about is we're in double digits now on the podcast.
We are indeed. I think, who would have thought?
No, we're
You know what?
rolling.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's happening and I think I'm so excited to be having so many fantastic guests coming and
Talking about guests.
so, talking about guests, who do we have here today? Oh, yeah, I'm doing the introductions. Oh, hello, Wole.
Adesemoye.
Hello, Wole Adesemoye. Well, actually, welcome to the studio.
Thank you very much.
Do you know what? I think this is a one time off. No, hopefully we have a lot of people like Wole here today. I can't even introduce him, guys. There's so much to say about you and brilliant things that you have done, and what makes Wole and yeah.
What makes Wole Wole? I mean, one of the things I love is the way you pronounce my name. It's so sweet, so lovely.
Wole?
And an amazing accent as well that you pronounce it with, which is lovely. That just touches
I'm not. This is not my cheeks going all red.
This is just.
But I was so scared, guys. I'm not going to pronounce his name right. And plus, do you know when you're just talking about a friend that you know already? But I've just met him 5 minutes ago, guys.
Yeah. So no.
So yeah, no. Welcome to the studio, and please introduce yourself.
Thank you very much. My name is Wole Adesemoye. I was born in Nigeria, Lagos, on the 25th of 4th, 1980, and moved to the UK in 1985. When we first moved to the UK, we lived in Hammersmith for a bit. Then we moved to Fulham in 1989. I have 5 sisters, 1 brother, and my mum is a single parent and brought us all up when my mum and dad got divorced in 1985 and we moved out of the Lagos to London. Where do I start? I went to school.
Where do you start?
I went to school in Chelsea. I went to St Thomas More in Chelsea. I went to school there, but primary school I went in Shepherd's Bush, to Lena Garden Primary School in Shepherd's Bush. I went to secondary school in St Thomas More in Chelsea. But for me, I struggled at school, and the reason I want to highlight this is I suffer from dyslexia and ADHD, so my attention span in schools and classroom wasn't very good. And back in we were talking about 1991 year.
Nobody was talking about
Nobody
it.
was talking about neurodiversity. No one was talking about ADHD. No one was talking about dyslexia. You were just defined
You had to get on with it.
You just had to get on with it.
Exactly.
You were just defined as the dumb one that didn't understand what the teacher was teaching you.
Yeah.
So we were at the back of the classroom. So that broke my heart. But yeah, I was really good at sport at school, good at athletics, good at football, good at boxing. I was good at everything that was sporty. I swam at Fulham swimming pool. The whole Fulham swimming pool is now the Virgin Active. Most people might not even know that existed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Back in the day, I used to swim there, swimming club. I used to go there twice a week.
Well, you've lived in Fulham apart from one little brief exit.
I know.
You've lived in Fulham all your life.
All my life, apart from
Exactly.
brief exit. But yeah,
It's pretty exciting. So, so you've moved from Hammersmith in Fulham, and you've never left.
I've never really left Fulham.
That's brilliant.
Yeah, I've never really left Fulham. But yeah, going on about myself, what I've done so far is I joined the London Fire Brigade in 2000, and I've been a London firefighter for 24 years. To me, that's a real good aspect of why I really want to serve my community and help my community. When people ask me about my job and they ask me, do I still love my job? My first answer to them is, I love helping people. And that's one of the things I still love doing, is helping people. So then I had my own business before COVID, was a personal training business, which I used to train client out of a gym called One London, which is also in Fulham, just by Imperial Wharf, just down the
Yes,
road.
Yeah.
But during COVID, like most businesses, we moved online. So I set up Precision Performance Coaching during COVID, which is an online coaching provider, and we're trying to help busy execs all around the world, men and women, to get fit by providing them with proper nutrition and proper diet. We have 2 doctors that work for us, one being a mindset coach, the other being a hormone doctor. So the first thing you do when you come and work with us is we look at your blood work. We look at your blood work panel, and you get a free mindset coaching session.
And how can people get in touch with you? So have you got the website as your main?
So the main way of getting in touch with me will be through my Instagram page. So my Instagram page is just
Good
my
old
name.
DMs.
That's
I
it.
meant to say, are you getting back to people when they DM you?
Slide in my DM. My name is Wole Adesemoye, and I'll get back to you. Yeah, so that's the easy way. That's an easy way of contacting me. But like I said, one of my main passion in life is still helping people. So we want to look at longevity. Longevity is something that I'm passionate about. You know, I'm 44 years old now myself, and I want to carry on doing the things that I'm doing now in my 40s, into my 50s, into my 60s, into my 70s. And the only way I can do that is by looking at my blood work, looking at my DNA. So a lot of people don't understand DNA. DNA scanning is to look how, you know, prone you are to certain diseases that may have affected your parents or your or you know. So we do a lot of stuff at the moment with blood work. The human body as a whole, male and female, to me, I think is the most incredible thing on this planet. You know, and I think like one of the things I look at as well, when I look at the human body as a whole, we have not changed. We haven't evolved massively since we came on this earth. We haven't started growing
It's
a
just the
third leg.
mentality and
We haven't grown a third arm, and we haven't grown a third or second head.
as far as we know.
I know. So do you know what I mean? So
Not yet.
the human body has not evolved or changed in the time we've been on the planet. So for me, I'm fascinated by that. So that's what my passion lies in, genuinely helping people with my business. You know, another thing as well is I'm a 5-time muscle model world champion.
I meant to say, I was like,
You know,
leave that on a side. Can
yeah.
you talk about how are you five times?
Yeah.
And, you know, what does it take? Is it obviously...
So it's interesting.
Hold on, how did you get into all of that?
It's interesting. So
Great.
I started boxing at an early age, and I fractured my eye socket in 2012. I was sparring in a gym. It was actually the gym that I went to was called Dell Youth. And at the time, if you're familiar with Grenfell, we were in the basement of Grenfell Tower.
Oh, wow.
That's where we boxed. That was my boxing gym at the basement of Grenfell Tower.
Yeah.
And that was that gym where I fractured my eye socket in 2012. And I was sitting there with an eye surgeon having my eye operation in 2012, and I was told there's a possibility I can go blind in one eye during that operation. And obviously, you know, my heart sunk. I thought, what am I doing? You know, I'm an amateur boxer. I'm not really getting paid for this. I've taken time off work. I've taken time off my business. I can't do things I love doing. Where am I going with this?
Yeah.
And then I just
And
said,
now I've got this injury I'm having to deal with.
yeah, and I had a massive, the same year, I had a massive breakup with my girlfriend of 8 years. She literally moved back to Canada. So my life was a shamble that year. And I just found like passion and in everything that I can control in my
Right.
life.
Okay.
So the passion just became more obsessive with, I can control what I eat. I can control how much I train. I can control how much I sleep. I can control how much alcohol I drink. I can control how much water I drink. Everything that was within my control, I took control of. Then I realized I wanted to step on stage. You know, I wanted to step on stage just
Can
to
I
see
ask, was it one of those things you wanted to prove yourself and your ex-girlfriend? No, I'm joking.
For me, like I was obsessed with everything I can control. And I am still obsessed with everything I can control. So the reason I wanted to step on stage wasn't to show off to the world and say, look at me, look at this amazing body. It was to prove to myself, I can set out to do something, I can plan out to do something and actually do it. So that's what I call integrity.
Wow.
Sticking to your words and doing the things that you say you're going to do. To me, that's integrity. Your body's not Amazon Prime. You ain't going to order it today and it comes tomorrow.
That's the
Like,
problem.
you've been misled. You've been
have it now. Have
yeah,
it now.
have it
that's
now.
so good.
So one of the things that I've become an expert at is the long aspects, playing the long game. When I mean a long game, is not expecting immediate gratification. It's awaiting the gratification. Is knowing that to stick to the plan, stick to the journey, turn up every day when you don't feel like it, and knowing that will pay off. My biggest fear in life is failure, death, and losing the people that I love. And failure is at the top. Growing up as a kid that suffered from dyslexia and living in a household where everybody was going to university, coming back with good grades, mum saying,
I meant
well
to
done.
say, it comes from somewhere.
Yeah, it comes. This is where it all comes from. I felt like I was going to be a failure. I felt like everything that I did, I had to prove to someone, not that I was better than them, but I was just as good as you. Or I can achieve the things that you've achieved, but even better. It wasn't, as men, we're very competitive. But even as human beings, we're very competitive. So when we live in a household of 5 sisters and your sisters are going to university, they're getting like a 2-1, a 2-2, a first, and then you're sitting there like the only one without a degree.
Well, I've got 5 gold medals.
I know, and it just feels like you're the black sheep of the family. Excuse to use that analogy. I hate that analogy, but you feel like you're not successful. you feel like everything that you've done has been pointless. It hasn't been acknowledged. So I felt like a failure. And I still sometimes have to remind myself of my accomplishment to not feel like a failure.
That,
Because
that's what I was just about to
yeah,
ask you. Have you managed to banish that demon, or is it still
it's still
occasionally
there.
there,
It's
popping
still
up?
occasionally there because, when I look at things, I'm like, it's almost like I feel like what's the word I'm looking for? I feel like a imposter.
Mm.
People use that word imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
And I get it still my business. I feel like, do I actually know what I'm doing? And
Wait a minute. When you're feeling as an imposter, it's
yeah.
not that you don't know what you're doing. You feel like you shouldn't deserve that. Do you think you deserve everything that you've got today?
The problem is like that's a great question. Do I actually deserve everything that I've got today?
Are
A
you
lot of
grateful?
a lot of my successes come through hard work, dedication,
Yep.
and the refusal to give up. But I look at myself and I'm not as grateful as I should be for what I have in my life. And I'll be completely honest and
Have you got a
transparent.
mirror at home?
I have got a mirror at
Talk
home.
more with it.
I will. But the funny thing is that great gratitude to me is we as humans, and I'll use the terminology we because I think it's important I highlight this, that rather than looking at the things that we don't have, or looking at the things that we do have, we look at the things that we don't have.
So, what would you tell other people that are planning to do what you're doing or clients of yours? What is your motto and mantra?
So my motto and matter really for everybody, anybody out there is work on the best project you've ever been given, physically, mentally, and that's you. Every single day. If you could be 1% better, not every single day, but per annum, 1% better per annum for the rest of your life, think where you'll be in 10 years' time. You'll be 10% better in 10 years' time. So
That's very
one of the
nice.
most important thing is for me as an individual, I look at life and I look at it in a very simple way. What can I control? So Last Man Standing took 3 Westerners from the UK, 3 Westerners from the US, and we traveled the world. There were 6,000 applicants and they only picked 3 from the UK, 3 from the US.
Wow.
So
Wow.
basically it was for a reality TV show and where 6 Westerners traveled around the world and we lived with the tribes. So we actually lived as tribe members and
I've
did
got goosebumps.
every single
Oh.
activities that the tribes did. We ate their food. We didn't have our own food with us. We ate their food. We
Yeah.
helped them fetch water. We cooked with them. Everything that they did, we did.
So you just lived the
We
lives.
just lived. We
the
lived
lives that they were living.
We lived the life that they did, and then we then participate on their tribal sports. So, for example, we went. Our first series one was stick fighting in Ethiopia, up in the mountain with the
Oh
Suri
my
tribes.
gosh.
Wow.
They got the big lip plates.
Well,
So
yes.
if you ever remember the Suri tribes,
Mhm.
have a look at it. So we went up to Ethiopia in the mountains, and obviously,
Wow.
you know, when the Soviet Union broke up, a lot of their arms ended up in Africa.
Mm.
So you got this guys in in tribes carrying AK-47s around everywhere, like as nothing.
It's just normal
Literally,
everyday living.
It's like the norm for them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the reason they carried the AK-47 around with them is to protect their cattle from neighboring tribes who may try and steal it.
Mm.
And that's the only
How
thing.
crazy is that?
I know.
Mm.
So they obviously, the more cattle you have, the more wealth you have in that sort of in that tribe. So, and the reason they carry it is to protect their cattle, and that's it. So, traveling and living as a member of a tribe taught me a lot about communication
Oh, I didn't expect
because
that.
because communication is understanding what I say to you and me understanding what you say to me. Communication is a two-way thing. But if the person you're communicating with doesn't speak your language and you don't speak their language, how can you communicate? Going back to that initial question that you say, what are the 3 things that I learned from that experience of
Yeah.
Last Man Standing?
Were you scared?
Of course I was.
Yes, he
Of course
was
I
scared,
was. I mean,
guys.
a lot of the things that we did were very unusual,
I
like drinking
bet.
cattle blood.
Oh.
Things like that. I've never done anything like that. So it was very strange. A lot of the stuff was very strange. And looking at someone with a gun, with AK-47, I'm like, this is just a thug with a gun. He could do anything that he wants with this gun,
wow.
But the 3 experiences that I learned from this whole thing was, 1, always believe in yourself. Always bet on yourself. Go all in yourself in every aspect of life.
Wow.
When I signed up for the show, I said I'm going to be the last man standing and I'm going to win this show. Yeah.
And
And I
And?
won the show, and I
oh,
was the last
I
man
didn't. I
standing.
haven't watched it yet, but
Yeah,
wow,
I was the last
fantastic,
man standing. I won.
Yeah.
Go all in on yourself. Believe in yourself, because if you don't believe in yourself, how do you expect others to believe in you?
Well, also is the resilience. And I
Yes.
think is something, I always said it doesn't matter all of those. I couldn't even introduce you because you've been doing so many things. It doesn't even matter that. It's you as a human. You're the last man standing. And I think
Yeah.
that's the
I think
important bit.
the body that we all are, I'll say, issued by God, we can make it better and improve it. But like I said, for me, I didn't believe in myself as a child. I didn't believe in myself as a young adult. It was the first time in my life that I came out on top. So for me, I'll reiterate that: go all in yourself, bet on yourself, and back it up with hard work.
Amen.
Because if you're gonna go all in on yourself, and you're not gonna be able to willing to put in the work that's necessary to actually achieve the objectives, whether it's you getting a good grade at university, whether you getting that dream partner that you want, whether you getting that dream job that you want, whether you getting that dream house that you want, go all in on yourself and believe that you can actually do it. You're always gonna face obstacles in life. Those obstacles that you face, the lessons that you learn and how you overcome those obstacles makes you the person you are today, tomorrow, and in the future. Because guess what? When we deal with incidents as firefighters, we refer back to experience we've had dealing with similar incidents before.
Mm.
And that's very easy because that example straight away comes to mind. It's like in life. If you have an argument with someone, if you've dealt with it one way before and you weren't successful, if you deal with it very calmly, it's very difficult for that person to carry on shouting at you. Very difficult for that person to carry on being angry at you. Life is a war.
Mm.
It's a war going on out there.
Yeah.
And you got to understand that you might lose some battles and you got to be willing to lose.
But that's okay.
It's
losing
okay
some
to lose some battles. So,
What is your USP?
do you know what? I'll tell you one thing about business, and I'm going to answer in one simple analogy. People buy from people.
Correct.
Mhm.
Oh, yes.
When I do business as an individual, or I want a plumber, electrician, or I want to hire someone to do something for me, I don't necessarily hire the best. I hire someone I like
Mm.
and I can
Correct.
relate
Yeah.
to.
Yes.
So the simple thing is, I have a personality.
I'm going to use that line. That's a very good line.
I have a personality. When you look at the Navy SEAL, the American Navy SEAL, one of the toughest military regiment in the world, they don't pick the best. They pick those that they can get on
Haven't
with.
thought about that.
People can be taught.
Yes, exactly.
Yes.
Sorry to use this
That's
word.
the mistake people do out there.
Sorry to use this word on your podcast, but if someone is a dickhead, you can't change that. A dickhead will always be a dickhead. And I'm sorry to say that.
No matter
You
what.
can't convert that. But
Correct.
a nice person, can be taught the skill set that he needed to be the best of the best. Going back to your question, what makes me different? Like, I could tell you so much about what we do.
It's your personality, isn't it?
I could tell you so much about our USP. We have 2 doctors. We do this, we do this, we do that. It makes no difference.
I agree.
When the person comes to work with you, they want to know that you're a nice person. They can get on with you. They can communicate with you. And also you can get them the desired results that they want. That's all they care about.
So, lived in Fulham all your life, apart from a little quick
Little exit.
back. Why? What do you love about it?
Fulham. Wow. Where do I start?
Wow.
Fulham. Fulham is like you have such a diversity of people from all around the world. And the reason I love it is that you have wealth sitting next to poverty to some degree. I won't call it poverty, but you have lovely houses sitting next to council estates. And you have that Northern Road market where it's bustering, it's buzzing. And, as much as it annoys me sometimes on a Saturday to go down there, you have the amazing butchers called Dickinson's on Northern Road where I get all my meat from, and I love that. So for me to live in Fulham, it's just, and also it's very central.
Yes, it is.
Yes, it
Great
is.
location.
I always use an analogy to people. I say everything I do is within a 5 square mile radius. I don't go out in a 5 square mile radius. And they're like, what do you mean you
Apart
don't
from
go
you're
out?
off with a tribe somewhere.
Yeah, exactly.
exactly.
When I'm in, Burkina Faso or Ethiopia. But like, like what I mean, like it's easy to get to the airport.
Yeah.
Because I travel a lot, so I can get to Heathrow Airport relatively easy. I can walk to Earls Court, jump on a Piccadilly line at my Heathrow in like 45 minutes. 2, the community. The community
Yes.
is absolutely great. The reason why I say the Fulham community is really, really great is that people are actually genuinely looking out for each other.
Yeah.
I
So
agree.
people
I've
look
never
out
seen
for-
anything as such.
No. And Fulham to me, it's also very cosmopolitan. When I mean cosmopolitan, it's different ethnicity, different genders, different race. And I lived in Hounslow briefly, and I don't like living somewhere where there's just one concentrating of one individual race
one type
or
of
one
person.
type
Yeah.
of religion or one type of people from one particular country. And I don't mean to be derogatory in any way.
No.
And
I hear
if
you,
that
yeah.
offends anyone, I apologize immediately. But for me, I love the diversity that Fulham gives.
So you also have a podcast,
Yes.
The Winning Mindset,
Yes.
which is also recorded here.
Yes.
So, it's like a home from home for you today.
How is to be on the other side?
So the question I want to ask you is and it's all about success, right?
Yeah.
So it could be a business or someone who's achieved something, I don't know, in sports or whatever, all sorts. But if you could choose anyone, who would be your dream guest? to
My
get on?
dream guest.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's a good
Be
one.
careful.
Wow.
Well, this is manifestation, my friend. Manifested
Wow.
in this podcast. That's a great question, Melinda.
Do you know what? I'll have to say Richard Branson.
Oh, okay,
Ooh,
interesting. Yeah.
Okay.
And the reason why he comes to mind straight away is because of the entrepreneurship and his achievements over the years, and also suffering from dyslexia. It'll have to be Richard Branson or the owner of Soho House, because I'm a member of Soho House.
Jones.
Nick Jones, yeah. So it'll be those two. I love Soho House. I love the concept of it, and I love what he's doing. Every time I travel, the first thing I look for is where's near Soho House.
Yeah.
If I'm in Miami, if I'm in New York, if I'm in Paris, if I'm in Barcelona, these are all the places. So for me, those two guys there will be at the top of my list. And for a female,
Oh, it's turning into a dinner party
I
now.
know.
It's turning into a whole dream
for a
party.
Yeah,
female,
come on.
it'll have to be Serena Williams.
Whoa,
okay,
wow,
yeah.
okay.
And the reason
What a
why I say
career,
Serena,
wow.
Yes,
Serena
what a
Williams,
woman.
Yeah, I love tennis.
Mm.
And I've just started watching the documentary
Oh,
of-
yes.
on Netflix
Yes.
of their dad,
Mm-hmm.
Richard,
Richard.
yeah, coaching them and what he had to go through to get those girls to where they want to be or where they are today. And I'm a massive, massive fan of hers. Like, I think,
Serena Williams, if you're watching this.
yeah, I'm not, I don't think I'll ever get starstruck if I ever met anyone, but other than her, I've met a lot of
that's
people in my life. So it would definitely be a female, will be Serena Williams.
Fantastic. Good answers. Love it.
Yeah, no.
Sorry,
brilliant.
you asked for one, I gave you 3.
What is it? What does it take to get the gold?
Do you know what? Do you know one thing I'm going to tell you?
Mm.
It's very lonely at the top. It's very lonely at the
Wow.
top. And what does it take to get to gold? All of my trophies that I've won, after winning them, I suffer from depression.
Wow.
Depression
Wow.
for many months because I didn't have a purpose. I didn't have nothing to aim towards. And I've just achieved one of the biggest accomplishments of my life, what I've been working towards for the past 6 months. Then, boom, I've gone into depression.
Is it that thing? What's next? If you
Yeah.
have gotten the best, now what's next?
So,
Yeah, wow.
so it's very hard because I always set goals to keep me grounded, to keep me focused. And one of the most important thing for me is understanding my purpose. Not having a purpose, not having something to aim for. It's like, I can't just go out and go for a drive. Even if I have a Ferrari or a Lamborghini, I need to be going somewhere.
Yeah.
That's just the sort of person I am. And, I can't be getting up at bed at 6 a.m. in the morning and just training for the sake of training. I need to have a goal. So this is what I say, that using the SMART analogy, to set goals is very good, and it's very important that you understand that. If you don't understand, do you understand what the SMART analogy is? So make sure it's, specific,
Mm.
measurable, achievable,
Mm.
relatable, and time bound. I use that a lot for myself. So it's being able to do that and understand what you want to do. You could do that with everything that you're doing. Being a mother.
Mm-hmm.
You both mothers. How can I be the best mothers for my kids? How can I give my kids what they want?
I'll tell you that is a path with a lot of guilt. I don't know if maybe
Yeah,
you
it
can.
is. And guess what? As a good mother
Mm.
and as a good athlete and
Mm.
as a good human being, amazing that you question yourself.
Mm.
Also, not to feel the guilt though sometimes.
Exactly,
Yes.
that's
Because
what I
at the end of
get.
the day, and I think this is going to wrap it up very nicely, even if I'm saying so myself, we're all human.
We are all
Correct.
And with
human.
human comes error, comes
That's
mistakes.
beautifully
Yeah.
said.
As long as we're not making the same mistakes over and over again,
Exactly.
because then we're idiots.
Exactly.
That's where problem lays.
That's what problem leads,
Right.
definitely.
Well, thank you so much, Will, for today. I think it's been a brilliant conversation, and yeah, we are looking forward to see what's next with you.
Yeah, thank you so much for coming in. And we would like to say a huge thank you to our sponsor, Archie Pango, and also, of course, to the wonderful team here at Foxpod Studios.
Thank you,
So,
thank you,
thank
so
you.
much.
Thank you guys for having me on.
Pleasure.
Pleasure.